Hey, hope you're doing well. I want to first say thank you so much for giving me so much feedback on your homeschooling needs. It was actually really helpful to look through everything you sent me through email, and it helped me a lot put together this homeschool planner. And so I'm recording this video because I just wanted to kind of demonstrate what I have put together and kind of show you how it works. And I would love, whenever you have spare time, to take it for a spin, see if it's something you like, and also to point out anything that works, what doesn't work, if you like something, or maybe I could add or change something. Any feedback I get from this template would be just so helpful. Yeah, so I put together a homeschool planner, which I'm actually pretty happy about. It was a little more complex than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, I'm happy to share it with you. So there's a few key things that I will explain with this homeschool planner. The first thing is the like how to bulk add lessons. I'm going to demonstrate how to do that. I'm going to show you how to create a kind of student profile and what the student page looks like. Then I'll show you the loop scheduling and how the whole system of how the loop scheduling works, which was actually incredibly difficult to set up, but now I think I got it to a point that it's just perfect, almost perfect. And then I'll just kind of quickly go through the logbook and reports and kind of all the other little things that make this homeschool planner pretty complete. So let's go into how to actually bulk add lessons. So if we come into lessons here, this is an empty demo right now. We have subjects, courses, and lessons. And so it kind of works as like a pyramid system where subjects are at the top, then you have your courses that are tagged to the subjects, and then inside each of the courses, you have all of the lessons. Now, you don't have to have courses. You could just have subjects and lessons. However, how the loop scheduling works is that you need to have at least one lesson tagged to at least one subject. I'm sorry, my light just turning off here. Let's fix this. Okay. Again, sorry, I'm filming this quite quickly, and I've got a bit of a cold right now, so if my voice is a bit scratchy, I'm sorry. Let's take a look at like a little spreadsheet I just put together really quickly to kind of demonstrate lessons or bulk adding lessons. So I have two students here, and then we have a subject math, two courses arithmetic and algebra, and then lessons numbered 1 to 10, and then 11 to 20 in the course. I mean, you'll probably have your own style of lesson planning. I'm just demonstrating this here in a table just so it's easy. Hopefully it's easy to kind of understand. And we're also going to do a bit of copying and pasting. So here we have a subject math. So we're going to begin by creating a new subject by clicking on new here. We're going to call this math, and then maybe we'll give it the red color. So here on the subject template is where you can do all of your lesson planning for this subject. We have a database for courses, and we have a database for lessons. So let's go back to our lesson planner here, or we have our two courses, arithmetic and algebra, and this is for student 1. Okay, we're now going to begin by creating the first course. So I'm going to click on new here. First course is arithmetic, so I'm going to be lazy and copy this over here. Oops. Arithmetic. And then student, I'm going to select Milo. I already had just created a student earlier. And then I'm going to come over to this spreadsheet. I'm going to select all of these. We're going to come back to arithmetic, open it up here. Maybe we'll click on red and make this a little bigger so we can see. So we have a database that popped up here, and this is for lessons. All of these lessons will be tagged to arithmetic. So let's click on new, and I'm going to click this dot here. This is a little trick you can do for copying, kind of bulk copying lines of entries. So I'm going to click Control V, and here we go. We've got all of these added here. Let's delete this one. Now let's select all of these again. Excuse me. And let's add in our subject. We're just going to select math. We're going to select the student. That's Milo. And then the last thing we need to do, but this is really the most important, and this is something that you need to understand fully, is the order. There is a property here called order, and this is essentially the whole basis behind the loop scheduling. You see this auto date here. This is showing up as August 17th, 17th, 17th. You need to give the lesson an order. So we'll give number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so this is what will allow the let's change this back to 10. And this is what allow the loop scheduling to work effectively. And so you can now see this auto date here, August 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th. So all lessons within a subject must have an order. And make sure the order there's nothing missing. So if it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I delete this here and it goes 5 to 7, you can see that the order kind of gets skipped a bit here, which actually it kind of balances out later, but it acts a little weird. So just keeping that in mind, it's not a big deal really, but it's just something to be aware of. Now, all lessons within a subject is how the loop scheduling works. So within math, if say you didn't complete a math lesson, it will be pushed over. So all the other subject lessons like English lessons and science lessons won't be affected. So keep that in mind when numbering your lessons within a subject. Let me kind of show you what I mean by that. So if we come back to here, we can see that we have another course called algebra. So let's add in algebra here. We'll just pre-copy this. We'll call this algebra. Let's tag this to Milo, and then we'll open this up. We'll make it red. There we go. We'll click on new and we'll copy it the exact same way here. Delete this. Let's select them all and click on subject, math, student, Milo. Okay, and so for the order here, since we already have lessons that are 1 to 10, we're going to make this 11, right? 12, 13. Oh my God. Sorry, this is a bit slow. If you want to skip ahead of this part of the video, go for it. Because I don't know how much editing I'm going to do off this video. This is... Okay, there we go. Okay, and so then we have lessons from 1 to 20 for student Milo. Now, what if we were adding lessons for another student, but in the same subject? So student 2 also needs to take math, but they're going to do some different lessons. How do we do the numbering here? Well, you do it the exact same way. We can come to create a new course, and we're going to call this one Geometry and Data this time. Whoops. Geometry and Data. We'll tag another student. Let's just call this student, I don't know, Matthew. And then we'll open this up here. Click on red, and this, we're going to copy all of these here. Then we'll do the exact same thing. Copy. Change these to math, student, Matthew. Now you might think, okay, should I order these from 21 to 30? So the ordering only works specifically within a subject and a student. So this student, you would number these just 1 to 10. So we're going to do this here. I don't know why it's so slow. Okay, there we go. So 1 to 10. So this might sound a bit complicated, but it's actually quite simple how it works once you wrap your head around it. Within a subject, that is how the lessons loop. So all lessons within, say, math would loop. All lessons within English will loop. And then they will also loop within the student. And so that also means that you cannot have two students linked to the same lesson. Technically you could, but then if one student were to complete the lesson and the other student wouldn't, then it would kind of mess up their schedule. So if you do need a student, you do have two children doing the same lesson, then maybe just duplicate the lesson. But I hope that makes sense. So here we have Milo, all of his lessons. So 1 to 20. And then we have all of Matthew's lessons, 1 to 10. If you look at it this way, it actually kind of makes a lot of sense. Now, what if you didn't want this scheduling, or you wanted the students to take a break for a month, or you wanted actual set dates for specific lessons? Then I've also added a date override. Now, this took so long to figure out how to make it work. I could get the date override to work, but have it work within like having multiple students and having it work correctly actually was pretty challenging to do, but it works really well now. So let me show you kind of how this works. I'll show it in a table view and then show it more visually if that's easier to understand. So if we look at Milo's lessons here, number 4, maybe we didn't want it on August 20th. You could change the date and push it ahead, let's say August 26th. And you see all of these dates have now shifted down. This also works if you include an end time as well, and it would shift all of these down equally. So you could, in a way, use this to add maybe lesson breaks. Say they wanted a break for a week, add in a lesson, give it an order number, call it break time, and then give it a date override for a week or something. And you'll also notice this will not affect Matthew's lessons whatsoever. This was actually a problem that took me a while to figure out, because the date overrides for lessons for one student were affecting the other student, and such a headache, but we figured it out. Cool. That's essentially how lessons work. And once you've done all the planning, like setting up the courses, subject, and all the lessons, we can see they look nicely here. We don't really have to touch it other than you going through the actual lessons, maybe clicking on the template and then adding in all of your lesson material. There's also a database for resources that you can manually link to lessons as well. Yeah, great. So let's go. That's it for bulk lesson planning. Let's go to the student page now. Okay, so let's click into Milo here. Not sure why this shows up. Let's click on New Student. And so this is on this page. This is kind of where all the magic happens. Once you get everything set up, all of your lessons, all of your resources, and everything kind of, you've pre-done that already. Everything should be set up perfectly on the student page. And so all information will kind of link to the student page, and the student page can be kind of like a central hub for everything. Now, this page you could share with your children. You could give them access to it and they can just interact with this page exclusively, or you could just do it yourself. But let's take a look at what we have here. So we have the student lessons, and so we can see our first math lesson has showed up here, addition and subtraction. So whenever you're done a lesson, we're going to click on log lesson. I'm going to just show you what that looks like just in a little bit after I explain everything. So we can see our lesson here. We can also view our today's lessons by subject. So if you have multiple subjects, you can see the lesson for today, or you could just view them nicely here. When a lesson is completed, you can see the today's completed lessons here. I think this could be kind of nice. Say if you have a lot of kind of little lessons in a day and you complete a few of them, you can see what you have completed and what you still need to work on. Excuse me, I'm so sorry, my cold. Then down here, we have a calendar. And so this is the auto date calendar. We can see that all of our lessons are now kind of scheduled here. And so if we were to complete a lesson, the next day, everything will shift down, which I'll kind of demonstrate in a second. Let's just take a look here. We have student tasks. Any tasks that are tagged to the student will show up here. And then all of our courses. We have arithmetic and algebra. We can see all of the lessons too that are here, and then all of the completed lessons. And then we have student reports and student resources. Student reports, I'll show you kind of what this looks like in a bit. But let's take a look at what log lesson does, because this is a really important function of the Homeschool Planner. So whenever you're done a lesson, a student has finished a lesson, you're going to click on log lesson, and it's going to give you a prompt that says it's going to create a new logbook entry. Are you sure? And then make sure to tag the correct student to this logbook entry. And so whenever you're done a lesson, this kind of creates a record of what was done. So we'll click on student here, click on Milo, and if this was like a test or like a little quiz or something that requires a grade or a score, you can also add a score here. For fun, let's just give our score 100. Okay, and then we can just kind of click out of that, and that's how we complete a lesson. And you'll notice that today it's disappeared. Under complete, it shows up here, gives us a time of completion. And now on the calendar, you'll see that it has disappeared from today. And if we scroll over, everything has not moved. And so what I've made the auto scheduler do, originally everything would just shift down. You could complete a lesson and it would shift down. And then you could then complete the next lesson in line and it would shift down. And I thought that was a bit disorientating, especially if you just wanted to complete one lesson each day. You wouldn't really want it to shift down, right? You would, like, let's say we have a lesson on Saturday, a lesson on Sunday, you would want this Sunday lesson to stay here. Now, once it is the next day, this next lesson in line will show up as today. If you don't complete that lesson, it will follow you as you go. I hope that makes sense. You'll see as it works. Now let me kind of demonstrate the date override here as well. So let's take our multiplication lesson. Let's say we want to push it forward to Wednesday. Click on here, date override, we'll move it to Wednesday. And you'll see that everything has just shifted down here, which I think is really cool. And you can do multiple date overrides. It doesn't matter. It all just works. Okay, let's delete that there. Clear this. Okay, I think that's it for the lessons. Yeah, again, the looping works within a subject. So if you have other lessons, part of a different subject, say like science or English, those will have their own kind of looping schedule as well, which I think is maybe the best way to do it. If you would like to see kind of maybe something different, just please let me know. Because it all really helps me build this a lot better. Okay, we've logged this lesson. Let's go back to our dashboard and kind of regroup a little bit. Okay, so what have we done? We've done the bulk lesson planning. We've done the student dashboard. Let me demonstrate kind of what attendance is. This comes from one of my previous attendance trackers that I think works really well. Every day, a new day is created. So for you, you just need to click here and change this to your current time. I'm so sorry, I have a cold right now. So change this to your current time zone, so it repeats every day. Now, if a student is sick and didn't attend today or didn't do school or whatever, you don't do anything. But if they did, you can just click on present. And so you'll see that a student is now tagged here for today, and their status will show up present. This also shows up on the student page as well. So at the start of the day, you can just click on present, and this will tag them to today's entry. And this is just a really kind of hands-free automated way of doing attendance. So now that we've done student page, lessons, attendance, let's click into reports here. So I talked to a homeschooling mother of 3 children, and her Notion site was super cool, but she really wanted a way of logging lessons and logging attendance, because I think she needed to give a record of attendance and lessons done to her homeschooling organization. And so I put together a reports kind of system here. So let's see how that works. We see our logbook entry. We have Milo here, and we have our addition and subtraction lesson show up, date completed, and our score. So over time, this will fill up a lot with a lot of different lessons and logbook entries. But what we really care about here is the report. So let's click on New Report. Excuse me. Let's call this Yearly Report, and we'll call this 2024. 2025, then give it a report date. Now this is up to you. I guess do whatever the yearly schedule is that you are on, but I'm just, for this demonstration, I'm going to click on January 1st. We have to give it an end date, and then I'm going to just do the end of the year. Okay, oops, end of the year. Good. And then we're going to select one student. So each report must be tagged to one student. We'll click this here. Good. And we can see now that 1 day attended, 1 lesson completed. Subjects learned math and arithmetic. Let's click on black. And so what we see here is a little checklist. We have to fix some of the filters here. Now, there's different ways that we can do this. I could have, every time you make a logbook entry, you could have just tagged it to a specific report. But if that report gets deleted and you needed to recreate it, then you have to re-tag all of the logbook entries, and it gets really messy. So I find that this is kind of the easiest way to do it. However, it does require you to set these filters, but it is quite simple. So if we come over to student grades, just go to filter, select the student, and then you have to set the date rule. So start date, set it to the January 1st, and then we'll set it to December. Then we click save. We're done with this, and then we can delete this here, and then just check this off. So this is a little checklist that you can just go through to set all these filters correctly. I'm not going to do that just to save time. But then afterwards, you will get a nice report that logs all of the attendance, all of the lessons, and the student grades, and then student notes you can add in. I also give some instructions for printing off this page in PDF form. There's a lot of ways you can print a Notion page in PDF. You can literally come here and go to export and click on PDF, but I find it's sometimes a little bit messy. It doesn't show the right things, especially also, whoopsie, some of these relations here, I think are roll-ups, and roll-ups don't show up nicely in this printing export thing here. So if you download this app and follow these instructions, this will print off the best version of a Notion page that I have found. And I spent a while trying to find the right way to print off a PDF, but I found this one to work the best. You can also print a Notion page for your lessons as well, and using this app will work just as good. And so this is how we create reports. And so when you get this all set up, you can create a report for each of your students, and then you don't really have to touch it. It'll just automatically be populated as you mark attendance and log lessons as you go, which I think is pretty cool. Okay, that's pretty much it for the major big things. There's also a resource tracker, which when I sent out that big email asking for homeschooling parents to give me feedback, this was like ubiquitous. Just everyone said this, having some kind of resource tracker. How this works is I'll have to set up when I make a proper video for this, I will give a tutorial on how to do this. I also have a tutorial in my YouTube video on how to use Save to Notion, but this uses a Chrome extension that allows you to save web pages or anything to your Notion workspace. And so you can set up Save to Notion to save to this database here, which is called Resource Database. And so whenever you save anything, it'll immediately save here. actually, I probably have it already set up. Let's go to a website. Let me just go to let's just go to Perplexity, which is an AI chat. And let's click Save to Notion, Perplexity, click on Type. Maybe I'll go to Website, and then click on Save Page here. Close, and then it will show up. Oh, I'm so stupid. This is my demo. It will show up on a different one. Oh my god. Okay, then let me see if I can. Sorry, this is the not editing, so my mistake. Let's go here. Right, so we see it on Perplexity, shows up here, has a cover, everything, and then you could tag it to students. Any resources you could tag to a subject, you could tag it to a course, you could leave these all blank, but whatever you tag it to, it will show up there. It will show up on the subject page or on the course page. Wherever you need this resource to be, you just tag it, and it will already show up on that page, just based on how the templates work, which I think is really cool. Yeah, in my demo here, I have a few resources that are all tagged. Then we have Task Manager, just a general task manager, which you can do. Create any tags that tasks that you need to do. You can also tag students to tasks, so you can give your children tasks to do, and it will show up on their student page. Also, I've included a finance section, so this is to keep track of payments. Maybe you're purchasing reading materials, or you have monthly subscriptions. I'll kind of just show how this works. Let's say this is YouTube. Let me zoom in here a bit. Subscription date, you can give it a date. Maybe you signed up on the 5th. Cost, maybe $10, happens monthly. And then it will show you the next payment and the days left until payment. And this will automatically change as you go, which I find this is the best type of subscription tracker I've found in Notion. That's just about it. Maybe I can go through my example, which I've also will share with you in this email. This is a Homeschooling Planner example, so I've filled this already with sample data. So maybe let's just take a look just quickly at how beautiful it looks with it filled with data. So let's load this here. I find it may let me know if the student pages load really slowly. I think with the formulas I have for the auto scheduling, it sometimes makes it load a bit slow. I hope that's not too problematic. But we see here we have lessons show up for different subjects. Let's see this here. See all lessons show up for the week. We've got our reports that show up. You could print these off. Student resources as well show up here. Lessons, tasks, field trip, things like that. I think that's it. There's probably more. I'll definitely So again, thank you so much for the feedback. I really would love if you could take a look at what I've created. Let me know if anything looks strange. Would you use it? Would you not use it? If anything you would want to add, maybe it's perfect and that's great. Just any kind of feedback as well. If you do think it's other homeschooling parents would enjoy using it, then let me know. Maybe share it with your friends who are also homeschooling parents. Also, even I'd be curious to know what a parent would pay for it too. Pricing these templates are always kind of challenging as well. Maybe it's useless and it's too complex, or it's not what you guys need, so 0. Maybe it's great, and so something a bit higher. But any kind of feedback is super helpful. But my own personal opinion, I think it's kind of cool. I've been a teacher for a while. I've never been a homeschooling parent, but the type of lesson planning and loop scheduling as well, I think would be just a really cool way. Like, I could understand how it would work, and I think it would work really well. yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it. This is yeah, just a kind of uncut video demonstration. In this email, I've included a link to the empty version of the template, and then also an example that's filled with sample data as well. Again, thank you. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for helping me out and taking a look at this. And I hope you have a great week. Thank you.